This time I was visiting India in the month of March, right after my visit to Bangladesh, to attend the 163rd birth anniversary of my granduncle, Kalyan Kumar Sanyal, on March 1st. This brought me to India in time for my own father's birthday on the 12th of March and the day of his passing 2 days prior, exactly 5 years ago. I started this journey by actually making a stop at his bank, the SBI branch for DB Block, where I had some business to take care of regarding an account I had inherited from him. And from there, I decided to retrace his usual trajectory, driving his Maruti Suzuki Dzire to his erstwhile residence that he had lovingly planned and built at DB91, where he lived with my mother after retirement for nearly 3 decades until 2011. Fortunately, I had my niece Priyadarshini with me to guide the way. By myself, I would have struggled, as Salt Lake looks all the same to me. Added to that was the trepidation of how I would feel getting there, as the old house has been completely replaced by a new edifice that serves as a guest house or hotel. I'd heard of that, but wanted to see it with my own eyes. Finally, there I was, reaching DB91. A completely different building to my right. I wanted to do one better than just seeing it. I was going to rent a room for the night to get a real taste of the nostalgia that would be for me to experience.
This is our entire ground floor has been plugged into. This is where the living room used to be. The Bahama's bedroom around there. This was the living room.
Living dining kitchen.
Living dining kitchen. And the garden used to be back behind there. So I'm planning to stay one night. So this is a bittersweet feeling. This was DB91, our house for many years. My parents used to live here, and they moved out to a flat in Calcutta in 2010 or 11, around that time. Now a whole guest house has been built here. The old house has been completely razed to the ground, of course, to build this absolutely new structure. I'm standing in one of the bedrooms. It's room 105. You could do a little pan to show this around. So there's the bed and a working desk with a big screen TV or monitor. And how does one feel in this situation? I have mixed feelings. I'd say that, when a house is gone and you come there and you feel nostalgic, it's an understandable feeling. And there's a certain feeling of chagrin in that. But I also feel on the flip side, what's positive is that I can actually come here and see and stay inside. This is the location that I'm very familiar with. There was a room here which actually was a room I often occupy. I'd say more or less it would be approximately in this area that I used to stay when I used to come on visits from the US. And here there's a veranda which I can access, and I'm trying to work this out. So follow me, Gavin, please. So this is a portion of the veranda that used to exist. I had actually filmed my father talking, reading an excerpt of Nehru's discovery of India, the day that Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan had died. And he was sitting approximately here, reading in his beautiful, mellifluous, sonorous voice.
The discovery of India. What have I discovered? It was presumptuous of me to imagine that I could unveil her and find out what she is today and what she was in the long past. Today, she is 400 million separate individual men and women, each differing from the other, each living in a private universe of thought and feeling. If this is so in the present, how much more difficult is it to grasp that multitudinous past of innumerable successions of human beings? Yet, something has bound them together and binds them still. India is a geographical and economic entity, a cultural unity amidst diversity, a bundle of contradictions held together by strong but invisible threads. Overwhelmed again and again, her spirit was never conquered. And today, when she appears to be the plaything of a proud conqueror, she remains unsubdued and unconquered. About her, there is the elusive quality of the legend of long ago. Some enchantment seems to have held her mind. She is a myth and an idea, a dream and a vision, and yet very real and present and pervasive. There are terrifying glimpses of dark corridors which seem to lead back to primeval night, but also there is the fullness and warmth of the day about her. Shameful and repellent, she is occasionally perverse and obstinate, sometimes even a little hysteric, this lady with the past. But she is very lovable, and none of her children can forget her wherever they go or whatever strange fate befalls them. For she is part of them in her greatness as well as her failings, and they are mirrored in those deep eyes of hers that have seen so much of life's passion and joy and folly, and looked down into wisdom's well. Each one of them is drawn to her, though perhaps each has a different reason for that attraction, or can point to no reason at all, and each sees some different aspect of her many-sided personality. From age to age, she has produced great men and women, carrying on the old tradition and yet ever adapting it to the changing times.
Some structures like the doctor's house, I remember it looks pretty much the same. And I think that house over there, DB91, used to be occupied by a veterinarian. So all of this looks very familiar and different. So on the one hand, I feel sad that the old house, dedicated in my mother's name, it used to say Olga Shandal at the entrance, no longer exists. But I'm not the only one who's experienced such a thing in a house that's now no longer. But at the same time, I feel very fortunate that since it's a guest house, I can rent a room here and bask in that nostalgia. And so I've planned that during my travels this time itself, I'm going to rent one of the rooms, the one I was showing you, 105. for 1 or 2 nights, just to experience living in this neighborhood in the exact location of the old house. And since I'm a collector of memories, collectionneur de souvenirs, that's something I enjoy, and I look forward to doing that very soon. I was quite keen to check this place out, and glad that it was actually quite a breeze. They were quite welcoming, and no one, of course, at the front desk has any idea why I want to do this, why I want to rent a room. Thank you very much. Signing off.
না রুমটা একটু এখান থেকে ভালো করে দেখিয়ে দিই।